Welcome to Math 76, Chapter 5.6. We're talking about going from fractions to decimals and decimals to fractions, both ways. Let's start with the easy one, converting fractions into decimals. We're going to use a calculator. I have the calculator app open because it's just going to make our lives easier. I'm going to say how much is 3/4 in a fraction. So I'm going to have 3, let's clear this out. 3 divided by 4 gives me 0, oh, that's too big, 0.75. And I don't need to round, it says round to nearest thousands. I don't have any thousands. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to do 5 and 6. I'm going to leave the other two on your own because these are just calculator problems. 2 and 1/4. So first I'm going to do 1/4. 1 divided by 4 gives me 0.25, and I'm going to add my wholes in there, my 2's, plus 2. And it gives me 2.25. Easy peasy. And I'm going to do number 6. 7 divided by 10. And I'm going to add my whole numbers plus 14. 14 plus 7. We can use our calculator on these. We don't need to do long division. We did long division yesterday. We don't need to do it again. Now here comes the trickier part, okay? I have a decimal and I want to make it into a fraction. Okay. As an aside, when we did a number, and we said like 8 is over 1, always over 1, right? We can always put the number over 1. It's hidden. We have 8 ones, but we don't usually say it. So this right here is over 1. We just don't normally say it. Now, I want to get rid of those decimals because I don't like the way that they look, feel, anything. I want to get rid of them. So I have tenths. So when I have tenths, I'm going to multiply numerator and denominator by 10, okay? And I get 0.4 times 10 gives me 4, and then 1 times 10 gives me 10. 4/10. And that makes sense because I have 4 in the tenths position. I have 4/10. So this is another way of writing the same thing. And then this said to convert into the lowest form, or reduce into lowest form. These are both even, so I'm going to divide numerator and denominator by 2. And I get 4 divided by 2 gives me 2. And 10 divided by 2 gives me 5. 2/5. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so I'm secretly over 1. It's always over 1. That's my first step. Put it over 1. Then my second step is going to be look and see what is my, what do I have? Do I have tenths, hundredths? What's the biggest one I have in terms of numbers, right? Hundredths, millions. So this one is hundredths. So I'm going to multiply numerator and denominator by hundredths. .75 times 100 gives me 75 over 1 times 100 gives me 100. Now I know I'm not in the lowest form. I can tell if 5 goes into both, but I also kind of feel like a 25 would go into both. When I think about quarters, one's 3/4 and one's 4/4. If you did 5, that would be fine. You would have to just do it more than once. I'm going to divide both by 25 and see what I get. 75 divided by 25 gives me 3, and 100 divided by 25 gives me 4. So I've got 3/4. Easy peasy. We got this. The reduction, you guys are experts at. I've seen that. Now we just need to work on converting decimals to fractions, then reducing. First step, I'm going to put it over 1. Then I'm going to figure out what decimal place I have. I have hundredths, so I'm going to multiply numerator and denominator by 100. 0.35 times 100 is 35. I'm not going to do these in my calculator anymore. And then 1 times 100 gives me 1 100. And now I definitely want to reduce, right? They both have a 5 in them. So I'm going to divide numerator and denominator by 5. And I get 7 over 100 divided by 5 is 20. 7 over 20. And I can't reduce it anymore. 7 is prime. I don't have any numbers that go into it, so I'm good to go right there. Number 11, same thing. I'm going to put it all over 1. What is my decimal place? I have hundredths, so I'm going to multiply by 100, numerator and denominator, by 100. When I put that in my calculator, or I do the mental math, 0.04 times 100 gives me 4 over 1 times 100 gives me 100. And I definitely need to reduce this, both even. I'm going to divide numerator and denominator by 2. 4 divided by 2 gives me 2. 100 divided by 2 gives me 50. Not quite there yet because these are both even. So I am once again going to divide numerator and denominator by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 50 divided by 2 is 25. 1/25. Okay. Oh, I skipped number 9. We'll come back. We'll do number 9, and then we'll do number 12. First step, divide by 1. Then I figure out what place value I have. I have thousandths, so I'm going to multiply by thousands. And remember, it's tens, hundreds, thousands. So that's how I got thousands. So I'm going to multiply by thousands. I can put in my calculator. I'm going to do mental math on this one. I get 625 over 1,000, which I need to reduce because I see that they are both have a 5 in them. And actually, I'm going to go further, and I'm going to say they both have a 25. I'm going to try taking out 25 and see what happens. $6.25 divided by 25 gives me 25, and then 1,000 divided by 25 gives me 40. Not quite done yet. They are both have a 5 in them, so I need to go one step further and divide again by 5. And 25 divided by 5 gives me 5. 40 divided by 5 gives me 8. 5/8, that's as low as it goes. 5 is prime. Okay. 0.52, step 1. Divide by 1. Put it over 1. Then figure out whether is our place value. Our place value is tens, hundreds. So I'm going to multiply numerator and denominator by 100. 52 times 100 is 0.52 times 100 is 52. 1 times 100 is 100. What do we notice? Both even. So I am going to divide numerator and denominator by 2 and see what happens. 52 divided by 2 is 26. And 100 divided by 2 is 50. Am I done right here? No, because they are both even. So I'm going to divide numerator and denominator by 2 and see what happens. 26 divided by 2 is 13, and 50 divided by 2 is 25. Great, that's that section right there, okay? Now we want to do some greater than or equal to, or as I like to call them, alligators, between fractions and decimals, okay? I'm going to do 14 because it gives me more room to write. So 2/3, I need to convert that into a decimal. I'm not going to do fractions and come up with a common denominator. No. I can just do decimals. So I got 2 divided by 3. I'm doing number 14. 2 divided by 3 is 0.6. 6, a lot of sixes. And then my other number is 0.5. And then I'm going to ask myself, which one would the alligator rather eat? He's very hungry. I'm very hungry. Would I rather have 0.6666 pizza or 0.5 pizza? I would much rather have 0.666 pizza. I'm personally starving right now. It sounds delicious. Okay, let's do number 16. Okay, 1/6, I've got to convert that into fraction. So 1 divided by 6 gives me 0.16666, etc. And then 0.2. Which would I rather eat? 1.666 or 0.2? I would rather eat 0.2. That sounds delicious right now. Of a cake, of a pizza, anything. It all sounds delicious. Okay, it says arrange each number from greatest to least. Okay, when I'm looking at these, it's a little confusing because some of them are in thousands, some of them are in tens. So I'm going to show them so they all have the same number of digits, so they all have all the same. So on my first one, I have 0. This is a little big. Let's go here. I have 0.4, so I'm going to make this 0.54, and I'm going to add 2 zeros. Those 2 zeros are implied, and I'm just putting them on so they all have the same number of digits. And then my next number, I'm going to leave it because it also has 4 digits past the decimal point. And then 0.5399. That 3 doesn't look right. And my last number, 0.5. I'm going to convert that 0.5, and I'm going to add 3 zeros onto it so they all have the same. Now my numbers all have 4 digits at the end. I'm going to pretend that my decimals aren't there, and then I can reorder. Okay? I'm going to type it because my writing on this is hard. Okay? My smallest one, I look at all of them. My 0.500 is going to be my smallest. Then I look for my next number that's going to be the smallest. I see 5399, that's less than 5400, so I'm going to go with that, 0.5399. Then my next one, I look at my list with the 4 digits that I made in the purple, and I'm going to say 0.5400, that's my next smallest. And then after that, 0.5455. So it just makes more sense when we make it the same number of digits and then we treat it like regular numbers when we order from least to greatest. Okay, we got one more to do. So this one I've got some decimals and I've got some fractions. So I'm going to convert my decimals into, convert my fractions into decimals. So over here I got 3 divided by 8 is 3/8. So I'm going to write that 0.385. Oh, no, 3.75. Okay, and then I have 2/3. 2 divided, 2/3, 2/5. 2 divided by 5 gives me 0.4, but I'm not going to leave it like that because I want to have the same number of decimals at the end, 0. And I notice here I've got this 0.41 over here, 0.4001. That has 4 decimal places, and over here I've written them with just 3. So I need to go back and add an extra decimal place onto each one so that they will match. Okay? Then I've got 0.37. I'm gonna make this stop doing the bouncy. 0. Okay, that was my next one. Here, I'm gonna put a space in there, like that. 0.3700. So now they each have 4 decimal places, and then my last number, 0.385. 0.4001. Okay, and now I can reorder these and put them in from greatest to least. My smallest number, if I look at it and I ignore the decimal place and I just look at the number, is going to be 0.3700. Then my next one is going to be 0.3750. Then my next one is 0.400. And my last one, 0.401. And there we go. Awesome. Word problems. The recipe calls for 3/4 cups of oats. Destiny only has a measuring cup. Only has a decimal measuring cup. What decimal should she measure out? Is this more or less than 0.8 cups? Okay, how much is 3/4 in decimals? 3 divided by 4 in decimals is 0.75 cups. And is that more or less than 0.8 cups? Well, that is less. If I put a 0 on the end of here, on the end of 8, it is easier to see. This is less. Last one. A vitamin capsule is supposed to contain 1/2 gram of calcium. The bottle actually contains 0.505 grams per capsule. Is there too much or too little capsules? Well, first let's convert 1/2. 1 divided by 2 gives us 0.5. And then I have 3 decimal places over here, so I'm going to add my extra ones. Is it more or less 0.505? This is less. And it says, is there too much or too little? The bottle contains 0.05 grams, so there's too much in each capsule. Okay, that was amazing. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow to talk more about math.